Hey, this is Kamran with Psychic. You may know us from our Quark plugin, which is a quadraphonic plugin for all kinds of fun stuff, making quad vinyl and radio and cassettes and all kinds of stuff. So other videos are on that, but what you may be wondering is, why do I have these headphones like this? Well, I'm going to show you how to do a quadraphonic system with headphones and your MacBook Pro speakers. So here we go. First things first, we're going to have to download some stuff. So here it is, Black Hole. It's a virtual audio device. It is free, but if you choose to donate $10, I'm sure they would very much appreciate it. There is a 2-channel and 16-channel and 64-channel version of it. The only one that really matters for us for this purpose is 16-channel, because we're doing quad, which is 4 channels, and so 2 channels not going to cut it. So download that, install it. Next thing is Reaper, which I'm using. You can use any DAW probably. Most of them will do this, but I prefer Reaper. It's basically free. There's a 60-day free evaluation, and I believe it even can go longer than that if you don't mind a bunch of pop-ups. But it's cheap, $60. It is incredibly powerful. They update it all the time. Couldn't be a better DAW. Next thing you're going to do is set up an aggregate device in Audio MIDI Setup. This is a native app in all Mac OS. So if you go to your utilities folder, which is Macintosh HD, applications, utilities, there is Audio MIDI Setup. Open that up. You see I already have one called Headphone Quad. So what I did with Headphone Quad is set up a MacBook Pro speakers plus the external headphones. So weird thing, at some point Apple decided that the headphone output and the speakers could actually be completely separately addressable outputs. So if you watch, I'm going to unplug my external headphones, and you see that it grayed out. I'm going to plug them back in, and it comes back. So because of that, you can say I want 2 channels of speakers and I want 2 channels of headphones, or these could be speakers for that matter. Doesn't matter. This is just a cheap way to do it. So I'll add an aggregate device just to show you how I did it. You click that plus button, aggregate device is in there, and then you just look for MacBook Pro speakers, and then you look for external headphones, which you have to have it plugged in to be able to choose it. Just know that, otherwise it won't show up. And then you say, I'm going to take all of this and I want to configure these as a speaker setup. And you have different speaker setups that you can do based on what you have there. So I'm going to choose Quadraphonic, and you see by default it had the MacBook Pro speakers, which I chose first as the fronts, and the external headphones as the rear. Now again, I'm using headphones. It just makes it really easy because, as you'll see, it's just like right by your ears. It sounds like rear speakers, but they could be real speakers going out of this output. So anyone has a quadraphonic output on their Mac, no problem. Now that we're done with Audio MIDI Setup, we are going to go into Reaper. So in Reaper, you're going to need to go into your settings, which are up here. And by default, it usually comes up with the audio device. And as you see, I've already have this chosen here. So in Reaper, you can choose your input device, which we are going to use Black Hole 16 channel. So the idea is that whatever we send into Black Hole 16 channel from our computer, which in this case will be iTunes, it goes into Black Hole 16 channel, Reaper takes it and then outputs it through my headphone quad, which are the 4 speakers, the 2 MacBook Pro speakers and these 2 headphone speakers. So one little note is, you see here I'm saying allow use of different input and output device. And so it says not recommended, but for our purposes it works just fine. And so if I didn't choose that, it would assume that Black Hole would be both our in and out. So we're going to do that Black Hole as our in and headphone quad as our out, apply it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make a quadraphonic session in Reaper. So I'm going to do a new track, and that track I'm going to make a quadraphonic track. Down there is a little routing thing, so you can say track channels, I want to do 4. So once I do 4, it allows me to choose inputs up here when I hit record. So right now it defaults to a mono input, but I want a 4-channel input, and that's only possible once this is a quadraphonic track. The next thing I need to do is how am I going to output it? Well, by default, Reaper is in stereo, so again, you need to do 4 channels. And once I do 4 channels, what it does is it allows me to choose multiple channel sources. So I'm going to, right now it has default MacBook Pro speakers as 1 and 2. The next thing I'm going to do is make a 3 and 4 with these speakers. But again, by default, it's choosing to listen to output or input 1 and 2. I want it to listen to the 3 and 4 so that I have different things coming out of the front and different things coming out of the rear. So now that we have that, now we got to get our music through it. So, interesting thing, iTunes with Atmos, through any sort of modern computer that can support Atmos through your computer, actually can take whatever is coming through Atmos. So Atmos is multi-channel object-oriented audio, and you can fold it down to anything. You can fold it down to stereo, which is often what happens through your speakers. You can fold it down to quad, which is what we're going to do. And you could even fold it down to 7.1.4, which is sort of the standard Atmos format. If you want to do that and plug into an interface, you can listen to Atmos through your interface, no problem. You don't need a receiver or anything like that now with the way that they have iTunes. Let's go into iTunes. I pulled up a record that I produced with an artist named Patrick Leeson. Look him up. Amazing, amazing man. He's about to turn 90. He was Herbie Hancock's synth player and actually showed Herbie what a synth even was way back in the day. So we did a jazz record together. It's a crazy jazz record. Pat did something really interesting. He had this kind of tone that had a really cool sound, and to me it felt like it needed movement. So this is a perfect demo for quad. And so what I did is I took it, I started it in the right speaker, moved it to the left speaker, moved it to the back speakers, and then it started bouncing back and forth between the left and right speakers. Really fun and a really good demo. How do you route this audio from iTunes to Blackhole 16 channel? Well, by default it goes to your MacBook Pro speakers. For us, that's not going to work because we're trying to send it both to our speakers and to these headphones in quadraphonic sound. So what you have to do is go into your sound settings of Apple. So, you go into your system settings, and then you can go down here, choose sound. I already have it pulled up. I already have this chosen as Blackhole 16 channel, but like I said, normally it'll just be on this or this. And now that we're saying all of the default sound goes to Blackhole 16 channel, when we play anything like Apple Music, it will go through Blackhole 16 channel. So here's what's cool. So now I'm going to hit play on this awesome track and just watch these meters down here and see what happens. So what I'm hearing right now in these speakers is my rear channels of the stuff going back and forth. Pretty cool. That's how it works. Your very, very inexpensive quadraphonic sound system. Thanks for checking it out. Bye.